Do you remember the last time you were spanked? It was probably more years ago than you care to recall, but try. Perhaps you were discovered in a lie or caught stealing candy from the neighborhood drugstore or sent home from school for fighting. Whatever the reason, you found yourself face to face with an angry parent whose look of disappointment or rage let you know that your behavior was unacceptable. Still pleading for amnesty, you turned your back, or more likely you were firmly turned until your backside was in a vulnerable position and winced as you felt the sting of the first stroke. Other swats followed until your bottom throbbed like it had been attacked by a swarm of bees. But you knew, despite your anger and excuses, that your mother and father had done the right thing. If you're a Christian, you realize that correction doesn't stop with your earthly parents. Your Heavenly Father disciplines you so that you can share in His holiness. But, unlike your parents, who may have punished you wrongly at times, the Lord always chastises you for the right reason, in the right way, at the right time, and to the right degree. He never makes mistakes, and He disciplines you to show His love for you. The Lord disciplines those He loves, and He punishes everyone He accepts as sons. With authority and love, Paul uses his pen as a rod to correct the wayward Corinthian Christians. Though we cannot hear the cries of these believers as they endured the pain of their reproof, we can read the stinging rebuke they received and see how it applies to us today. How do you spot arrogance in the pews? Churches that build their ministries around one person are usually conceited. They, like the Corinthians, think that they have a corner on the truth. They look down their noses at other congregations while blindly following the teachings of their own leader. Arrogant churches are easy to find. When their chosen Messiah isn't speaking at the Sunday morning worship service, their pews look like the rapture is hit. If you belong to one of these churches, beware. You're better off avoiding it rather than risk being sucked into its elitist spirit. Ministry is not built around charisma. It's built around character. And God is looking for churches that carry with them the very character and nature of Christ. There is a cure for feeling superior. There's nothing like reading the biographies of some of God's saints to cure a superiority complex. You'll quickly discover what the writer of Hebrews noticed centuries ago as he surveyed the annals of history. This is what it says in Hebrews 11. Others were tortured, not accepting their release, in order that they might obtain a better resurrection, and others experienced mockings and scourgings, yes, also chains and imprisonment. They were stoned. They were sawn in two. They were tempted. They were put to death with the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, ill-treated, men of whom the world was not worthy, wandering in deserts and mountains and caves and holes in the ground. We can easily see the pride and the arrogance of the Corinthians. But that same arrogance is right at our door. And if we are to deal with that pride and that arrogance, if we're to deal with the self-indulgence that is in our own families, it will require discipline. Eli or Paul, both were fathers, but with very different approaches to discipline. Parents, whose approach do you model? Like Eli, are you blind to your child's weaknesses and wayward ways? Dumb, unable to give a needed word of rebuke? Or are you like Paul, clearly seeing the spiritual condition of your children's hearts and quickly speaking up to confront their wrongs? True love disciplines. Do you love your children? Then discipline them diligently and consistently. Depending on the presence or absence of proper discipline, your child will either be a delight and a comfort to you or a source of shame.